You're watching the CG Live podcast. Now, the content for these podcasts are a little bit different than our normal pods as we bring on members and do long-form interviews. These were actually recorded live at our events with members that were going on stage to present. So the content is killer. Enjoy the show. Welcome into the Collective Genius Podcast. We are at our Q1 event here in Dallas, Texas. CG CEO and CG premiered 300 real estate investors from all across the country. And I have a first-time guest, long-time member, Mr. Pat Martin, joining us for the first time. Welcome in, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Leon. It's great to be here.
It's so good to have you. I continue to hear all these great stories coming out of Knoxville and Chattanooga. What are your other markets? Knoxville, Chattanooga,
We're in the what's called the Tri-Cities.
Tri-Cities. Yeah. Okay. Chattanooga, by the way, totally underrated city.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful
Totally
city.
Underrated. My family, we went last year for spring break. We did a little trip around Tennessee and Kentucky. The first stop was Chattanooga, and we're like, man, we should stay here for a few more days.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
Did you
beautiful
walk
city.
across that pedestrian
We
bridge?
sure did. It was just about to close as they were doing some renovations. So if you've ever been in Chattanooga, one of those small kind of tertiary markets when it comes to real estate investing, but just an absolute beautiful city. That bridge you're talking about was like an old, it was a pedestrian bridge, but it looks like a train bridge is what it looks like, old. And you go across to a very artsy district. Very, very cool. But you are based in Knoxville,
We are.
correct? Another beautiful city.
Yeah. We actually, those were the two cities we were looking at moving to. So it was kind of 50-50 between the two, and we ended up in Knoxville. But
Where were you before?
we moved there from the Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Oh, wow.
So
You were a Youper.
we were in the
I didn't know
frozen
that.
tundra.
I've known you for a long time. I didn't know you were a Youper. So I lived in Michigan for 3 years, and the Youpers that I knew were all crazy. So.
Yeah. So I went up there for college. So I didn't
Northern Michigan?
Actually, I graduated from NMU, but I first went to Michigan Tech. Did that for 3 years.
Okay.
Decided didn't want to be an engineer.
Sure.
Dropped out and ended up getting a degree from NMU in finance.
Yes, Northern Michigan University. This is where I come out with random facts. The two most famous alumnus that I know.
Schultz.
Which one?
Howard Schultz.
Howard Schultz. There's one more. Tom Izzo.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and Steve Mariucci. They all played football there, and Schultz was way before them, I think. Well, maybe not way before, but anyway, Starbucks owner and two very successful coaches in college and professional sports. All right, so let's get back to Tennessee. 400 deals last year in what most would consider pretty small markets relatively.
650, but
650.
650. That's closed transactions.
I don't think I saw that number on the board. So I asked Stephanie, who, betters with, she does all the CRM stuff. So she typically knows. So I shorted you, my fault. I shorted you 250 deals. My goodness. In markets, again, that people wouldn't think you could do that type of deal flow. But we just had Ryan Weimer on. He was talking about how many missed opportunities he had. They presented right before you guys did yesterday. And that's what I want to kind of get to here is 650 deals. You doubled your business last year.
We did.
And what you presented on the main stage yesterday was how you were able to do that. And they changed a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this, you're not going to try to do all of these things. We're going to highlight a few things that they did to double their business. And what I love is when I see people get on that stage and they say, we doubled our business, but we're not done. We're on our way. We're going to thrive to get to 20 million. We're not stopping at 10. We're going to 20. I love that. Let's start with how you were able to do that. What did you identify that, all right, if we do this, we should be able to fix some issues and get to 600 plus deals plus a $10 million business?
Well, we learned a lot of lessons. I've been doing this for 15 years, and it wasn't always up and to the right. We had a really rough season in 2022 where I realized we didn't really run with operational excellence. So if there's three things that I would say that changed us, it's high quality A-player team members, it's culture, and it's a focus on being an operations in the company and being excellent at them.
So you talked about being lean as well.
Correct.
So you got up on stage with your COO, who we'll talk to a little bit later to give some insight from his perspective as, someone that's in the operations part. You were bigger and then you got lean. What did you identify? You didn't have the right players?
We for sure did not.
Okay.
I I didn't know what I was doing running a business, and whoever was the best sales guy, guess what? You're promoted to sales manager.
Right.
What have I learned now is that your best sales guy is highly likely not going to be a sales
More
manager.
likely.
It's two different skill sets.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, we didn't have great accountability in the business. I wasn't putting the right people in the right seats. And so we didn't have good systems and operations to be able to survive the interest rate hike and all the drama around that, real estate hiccup that we had. It's kind of like that saying, the tide went out and
Right.
we didn't have
You
trunks
caught
on.
with your pants down.
So,
Right. So, and you're not the only one, Pat. 2022 was rough. I remember talking to Stephanie, left main REI with the Salesforce. I remember talking to her, and she was like, no one that is on our platform made money at the Q4 2022. That doesn't mean they didn't make money in 22. It was just rough for everyone, considering where everyone was coming off in 21 and 2020. You mentioned a few things there, and it's for a lot of people listening. At times when the people hear people, systems, process, they go, yeah, those are a lot of buzzwords. But how do you identify who players are? So you mentioned that you knew that you didn't have the right people on the team. You had to level up. Not only you had to level up, but you also had to level up your accountability and your systems underneath. Let's focus first on how were you able to attract? You're coming off of a bad year in your mind, not doing what you're supposed to do, and obviously fixed it. But how are you coming off a bad year, finding the right people and attracting them?
Sure. So that start was probably, I'd say, with my current COO, Coburn. So we brought him on right out of college, really hungry, really smart.
Lots of energy.
He came on as our finance guy.
Okay.
And, was with us through those tough times in 2022. And I saw that, he was good at operations. He was good at building systems, and really good at, helping people raise up to the highest level. So once I put him in place as COO, that kind of opened
set the tone.
It set the tone. And, when people started to get accountability, people started to rise up. Like Jamie Little, he's been my marketing guy he's been my longest standing employee. 8 years he's been here. And he's always been good, but now he's great because of that new level of accountability and being able to draw more out of him as a leader.
Yeah. A lot of times when people think that they have to hire the best people, they feel like they have to do it overnight. Generally, if you have a team already and you've built up enough revenue that you can go out and hire someone in an ops position that is different, is a game changer, that can set the tone. It's no different than a bad NFL team finding the right quarterback to stabilize the team. Now you've got your leader in place, and you now put everyone else around, build around that franchise quarterback. In your particular case, Coburn was your franchise quarterback in this analogy. You built around him, and he, with his energy, guarantee you, he attracted people that were just like him, that were hungry, wanting to grow, goal-oriented, smart. It's sometimes the domino is hiring that first person that can come in and take the leadership things off of your plate, so you can worry about the vision and they can worry about accountability and the little things in the business. That's what I'm guessing Coburn was able to do for you.
Yeah, 100%.
The accountability piece of it, you set standards. You looked at all departments. When you really looked at, we're going to lean this business up and we're going to correct all our systems and processes. If there was one domino that knocked over the other ones, that you said, all right, we got to start here. We hired the right person. Now we've got to start here on the accountability and our inside systems and processes. What was that one thing that you've started with?
Role or thing?
Well, the role we know is Coburn, right? Yeah. So if he was the first role, was it marketing? Was it sales? Was it your systems, better processes? What was it that you felt?
I think it was driving clarity to our team members on what winning looks like. So let's take acquisitions, for example. What does their week look like? What are their KPIs that are held accountable to every week? And, we talk a lot about this because we use them, but every role in our company has success statements. So what does it look like to win as an acquisitions rep? And they know what that is. They know what their KPIs are every week, and they're held accountable to that. I think back and I look back to what our acquisition team looked like in 22 and compare it to today. It's night and day. Like now, what we're experiencing now is we have really top tier talent that we have guys fighting for our open positions because they know what the opportunity looks like. And I was thinking through that. It's like, if you try to have that level of accountability and that level of excellence, but you're starting here, you're going to have some, it takes time.
Sure.
It takes time to build that culture. It has been built over a couple years for us.
Yeah. And you set the tone. It's unfortunate that at times I believe that a lot of our entrepreneurs would do much better if they just spent a couple of years in corporate. And I only say that because, most of us are terrible employees as entrepreneurs. But what you find is the reason that institutions are successful is because they do manage daily activity and set standards of what a win looks like. And it takes us some time as entrepreneurs because sometimes we're the best salespeople, which not always the best leaders. And you have to really, truly look at on a daily activity. We could just call them DAR reports, daily activity reports. Like we set the tone. If you do these things with our training, because we're going to train, you're never going to be able to walk out of a sales appointment and go, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
We're going to train and we're going to train again. If I do these activities with our training, then I will have this amount of success minimum, right? That's what you did. Specifically, I loved how you said how we survived, we reset, and we rebuilt. And you rebuilt off of that audit. And there's no way that you double your business without going down to every system and auditing what is a win. And again, people that are listening to this, he's not doing this in Los Angeles. He's not doing this in New York. He's not doing this in Miami or Dallas or Houston or any of these other big markets. You're doing this, I'm guessing that area, total population is what that you did 650 deals in?
Like the city of Knoxville is like 150. The greater metro is 900,000.
So you're at 1 million, let's call it, with everything that you service in Knoxville. And Chattanooga's
a little smaller than that, and Tri-Cities is probably half of Knoxville.
So you're looking at probably 1.5 million, very similar to what we were just talking about with Ryan Weimer in Boise. They said they missed 1,000 deals with 1.5 million in MSA. Like, we're not talking about, there's a lot of people listening to go, I need to go to another market because I can't get enough deal flow in this Atlanta. Right? There's tons of things that you're missing out on. And it comes back to the two things that you guys really focus on, you as well as Ryan's presentation yesterday, was the auditing, understanding the data, and then attacking it with the winning culture that you guys established and you had to reset.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Yeah. So moving forward, how do you continue this? Because let's face it, inspiring someone after you double a business is tough.
Yeah.
Right? How do you keep this journey to 20 million? How do you keep people motivated to get to that spot?
I think we have people on our team that are hungry and they're not satisfied with where they are.
Mm.
And so if you find out what your team members' needs are and that can align with our goals, a lot of our team members they're not satisfied with what they're doing today.
Mm.
And you bring on someone new and guess what? They're going to want to rise up. They're going to want to be that top rep. So I think just people in general, they want to win. They want to grow. They don't want to be stagnant. I think the vision that I've cast for the company, I think our whole team is behind that. And so we're all willing to do hard things to accomplish that.
Outside of winning culture and hiring the right people, you've audited everything. Right now, as we sit here, we're at Q1 event in Dallas, Texas. We're a quarter, the first quarter of 2026. What do you feel like you're doing the best right now? You've done all these other things. Right now, today, what's working the best for you? You made 650 deals last year. Something beyond hiring the right people is working for you. What is that?
I'd say marketing and holding our marketing dollars accountable. Jamie has gotten really good at analyzing our data on what are we spending on this radio station or that mail piece, and what is it turning into for us? And then breaking that down into not just having how many leads in general does it take us to get a contract. We know how many leads it takes to get a contract per channel, so that we don't have this overarching, hey, we need X amount of leads.
Right.
That's just an average lead to contract ratio. We know that it only takes 4 leads from radio and 3.5 leads from TV to get a contract. And so that's way different from 20 leads in Facebook to get a contract. Right.
So are you doubling down, allocating, especially part of this audit last year? I think you presented on this, if I remember correctly. you audit on the return on investment on these channels and put the money to where the channels are giving you the best return.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. And that is over. Here's the part I want people to really hear, because a lot of times when people are, in their first, especially year 3, that's where it gets tough. People hit that wall of $1 million maybe, and then they go, that's not working for me anymore. When your business has just changed, you have to hire different people when you've gotten to that point. But my guess is during these audits, you took data over an extended period of time. This wasn't just, I'm going to look at this for 30 days. How long of a period of time do you make these audits where you're changing and allocating dollars? What's that process look like?
So all of that is tracked on a rolling 12-month basis. So you're looking back 12 months, and every month that goes forward, a month falls off on the back.
So listen to that. Say that again. Rolling 12 months, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So a lot of times we get these knee-jerk reactions as entrepreneurs that, hey, I was getting a 5X return and now it's only giving me 3X return without, really looking into the data. We're making these knee-jerks, and that was just a month. That maybe just an anomaly because it was a cold weather month and you had a bunch of snow and it just wasn't, not a lot of deals were done in that month in general in the marketplace. So rolling 12 months, evaluating, auditing constantly. This is what, when we talk about levels of collective genius, there are different levels to every business. But when we talk about what a CEO level business looks like within the collective genius, these are people doing $10 million and above or worth $15 million. It's not just the net worth. It's really what we're looking for are people that have companies like yours, where you've looked at every single position, you audited it, you hired for the winning culture, you've audited everything and made it better and gotten to this point as an operator. You are a next level operator that you've now gotten to this point where you don't have to be involved in day-to-day operations because you have people that are overseeing that. And now you can move on to being the best leader that you can be.
It's kind of scary, Leon. I realized
that's where I was going.
Everybody in my company is better than me at all these things. What do I have left that I'm the best at?
That's where people graduate
There's not many things that are left.
You need to have a conversation with Eric Brewer.
Yeah.
He got to that point 5 years ago, I want to say. This is where community comes in, my friend. This is why we talk about the power of community, because everyone that's listening to this, if you continue to do all the things, and you're in the groups like these and you're around the right people, you're going to get to that point where you're a dad with your 8th kid on the way, couple grandkids, and you're like, what am I supposed to do now? I love my business. I want to continue growing. I want to spend time with my family, and I can maybe have more time for that as well. But you get to this lonely spot because you're no longer the best employee for the company. You've now graduated into this CEO founder level where your job is now to lead and grow additional leaders. That's a conversation you should have with Eric.
Yeah.
He was almost depressed. And he got to a point where he was like, my highest and best use now within this company is how do I take it to the next level? What's next? So everyone on the team sees that they have more opportunities because I'm going out and doing commercial deals or finding a new market, whatever that is. That's my first job, is having the vision. And the second is I'm going to make sure that every middle manager becomes an executive level manager, because that means that I can then take that person and put them into this new venture that I had this vision for. That's a great conversation to have with Eric. You're at that point.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations on what you've built here, my friend. Stephanie Betters is a big fan of yours, and she'll text me every once in a while. Pat is just crushing. You've got to, they understand what it takes to grow a business, and high level operator. I appreciate the value that you and Coburn gave yesterday and the value that you gave here today on the pod. If anybody wants to check you out, are you active on social media?
I have Facebook. I'm pretty active on our social media for ProSource. We shoot videos and all that stuff.
Okay, where do they find that at then?
ProSource Home Buyers.
And that's on Facebook and
Instagram. I think they do all the things.
Again, he is the founder. He is the CEO. He's graduated to that level where he just said, I think they do all those things. It's a great place to be.
Can I go back real quick and hit on marketing? One thing on marketing real quick?
Absolutely, please do.
So, one thing we've learned is you have to give a new marketing channel at least 6 months. And a good story behind that for us is we tried TV. we knew some people in CG who were doing TV, and it was working really well for them. So we started in our main market. We started with a small budget, like 10, 15 grand a month, and it just wasn't working. Weren't getting leads, weren't getting contracts. But we committed to that channel of TV for 6 months. And we also started to see that we kind of upped our spend to see maybe there is a little bit of, you have to have enough presence.
Saturation.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we got our budget up to 30K in Knoxville, and then all of a sudden it started working.
Yeah.
And so people need to realize you have to give a channel enough time. And we laugh now because TV is our number 3 channel. We're doing it in all of our markets now. When we went to Chattanooga, we saw the same thing. We had to ramp up. You had to have a little time. You had to spend enough money. And I laugh now because we have a competitor in the Tri-Cities who just blasted on Facebook that he tried TV and it was the biggest waste of his time.
Perfect.
Guess how long he tried it?
2 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So
that's, I appreciate that advice. Appreciate you going back and saying that, because from a marketing standpoint, those that are in rooms like this are the people that understand they all work, all the channels. I promise you this, TV will be your number 1 over time.
Yeah.
Especially, here's why. Having a television background, when you're in markets that are secondary, tertiary markets, television, your reach and your exposure as the authority in the marketplace is so much easier to hit in a market like Knoxville and Chattanooga. You take that same TV budget and you to put it in Boston, or you put it in San Francisco, and you're going to have to triple or quadruple it to have even a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
But in markets like Knoxville and Chattanooga, we're talking from a television perspective, market 100 plus or 88 and plus. These are markets where the metro, everywhere that you service, are seeing your message. And the saturation piece of it becomes, all right, how often do we need to, that's where you have to kind of balance it. But you're in great television markets. I have conversations with people all the time that are in places like South Jersey. Well, they got a market in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
On the television station in Philadelphia, but they only buy in South Jersey, so they got to say specifically South Jersey, right? Or people that are in New York, they only buy maybe Long Island. They don't buy the city. They don't buy the Bronx. They don't buy, Brooklyn and some of those other areas. So they're really stuck. They cannot really dominate television because they're going to all these areas in which they don't purchase. But I guarantee you, your television in Knoxville and Chattanooga, you'll probably service all of those leads that come through that channel.
Yeah. Our team loves it too, because like I said, we are able to serve 1 out of 3.5 of those leads. So it doesn't create a bunch of busy work. Like Facebook, you're 20, 25
Motivated.
leads to a contract. These are our customers that call us.
Yeah. As Glenn Ross calls it, the Glengarry leads.
Oh,
Everybody wants the Glengarry
Everyone
leads.
wants TV leads.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Pat, I appreciate you coming on. That presentation hopefully was really eye-opening to everybody as much as it was to me. Sorry it's taken so long to get you on the pod, but I wanted this type of presentation to lead into a great conversation, and it worked out. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Pro Source Buyers, both Facebook and
Pro Source Home Buyers.
Pro Source Home
It's a
Buyers.
mouthful,
Yeah, it is. Pro Home.
Pro Source Home Buyers.
Wow. I'll let you say it 2 more times there so I don't get it wrong. Again, thank you. And thank you for listening and watching the Collective Genius podcast. Again, if you'd love to be in a room with guys like Pat and Ryan and everybody else that we'll have on the pod during this Q1 event, the best way to do that is go to explorecg.com. There you'll find our application, 4 different levels: CEO, Premier, Select, and Elevate. If you're a full-time real estate investor doing at least 2 deals a month, we've got a level for you. If it's a good fit, great. We'll talk about next steps. If it's not, that's okay too. You'll at least have a conversation with someone who's been in the industry for a long time. Maybe even catch me on the other side, which I still love to talk to investors across the country. Appreciate you all listening and watching and supporting the Collective Genius podcast. We will see you on the next episode.
Are you ready to scale your real estate business? Visit explorecg.com, where real estate investors come to scale. Subscribe to the Collective Genius podcast and hit the bell icon to be notified when our next episode releases. And thanks for listening. This podcast is for informational purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and the opinions expressed by the hosts and participants are their own. The Collective Genius is not liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, or other damages resulting from reliance on the information shared in this podcast.